Who are you and what are you all about?
Hello, my name is Dr. Sharashkin. I am a natural beekeeper and I'm here at the Homestead Live conference presenting on how you can start keeping bees almost for free. Today you can hear so much about bees disappearing and suffering and collapsing and dying in large numbers, but we are not getting the news that even today you can keep bees naturally with very high success. And I'm explaining to people that if you do it the natural way, keeping bees can be simpler than growing tomatoes. This was my experience. With vegetables or any other form of gardening or agriculture, you need to do so many things yourself, but with the bees you just give them a good home and they do the rest. It would almost sound like an exaggeration, but this is how beekeeping was done for thousands of years. People were not buying bees from any bee supply company. They would give bees a good home, and this is how you can still get bees today. You set up a box in the tree in the spring, and just as birds move into bird houses because you gave them a good home, honeybees will occupy these swamp traps, as they're called, or bait hives, if they find one. For every 2 boxes like that I set out in the trees in the spring, one will have a swarm just move in there. So not only you are getting your honeybees for free, you are getting the local strain of bees that will be better adapted to your local conditions, including the timing and the variety of plants that bloom there. They will be more winter hardy if you live in the north, and chances are they will be more disease resistant. After you have your bees, you have a choice of beehives. I have a website called horizontalhive.com. Again, it's horizontalhive.com. Horizontal hives are traditionally used in Europe, and many beekeepers to the present day, millions of them, favor them for the ease of management. As opposed to the conventional American hive, which consists of a series of boxes that you stack one on top of the other, the horizontal hive doesn't involve any heavy lifting. All the frames are on the same level, so you never break your back by lifting honey. You just lift one frame at a time, so it's easy on the beekeeper and much less disturbance for the bees compared to the conventional hive models. Other than that, if you follow some very basic natural principles of allowing your bees to swarm, this is how they procreate, or inducing artificial swarming to break their brood cycle so they don't have baby bees for a while, and baby bees is what the pathogens breed on. So if there is no brood in the hive for a period of time, it cleanses them of disease and parasites as efficiently as any drug or pesticide or antibiotic would. So even disease control in the beehive can be done completely naturally. And other than that, you just give bees the kind of experience they would have in a tree hollow in the woods, and open the box to harvest some honey once a year. Some will say, especially those who have experience with conventional beekeeping approaches, oh, it will not work. Today we can no longer keep bees without chemicals because of all the disease and pathogens that they get. It is not true, because if you look into the wilderness, in the woods there are bee trees that nobody treats with chemicals, and bees are thriving. There is research today confirming that if left to their own devices, the wild honeybees living all over the United States will have a lifespan of more than 6 years for each colony. So that means that if we mimic the natural process in our beehives and use local bees that are disease resistant and went through the cycle of natural selection, there is no reason why you couldn't be as successful as nature is, and that with a minimal expense. Instead of buying all the equipment and buying the bees, you can get the bees for free by attracting honeybee swarms to bait hives, and you can build your own equipment very inexpensively. On my website horizontalhive.com, I share for free the plans for building horizontal hives of different models, so you can get started without breaking the bank. And I'm so happy to report that people who had no bees a year ago, some of them have dozens of hives now just by setting out boxes in the trees and capturing some local swarms. Another funny part is that this information is widely available. You can even find it in children's books. I was reading Alice Through the Looking Glass for my children 2 months ago, and I noticed that in this classical book for children, in chapter 9, there is a description of using empty boxes in the trees for catching your own honeybees and starting to have your own honey without any need to buy bees. Again, this is how beekeeping was done for thousands of years. Just think about it. 100 years ago, a farmer didn't have FedEx to deliver a package of bees overnight from another side of the country, but everyone had bees, and honey was on every family's dining table. So if this is something that's potentially appealing to you, I invite you to explore it further. There is a lot of free information on my website, horizontalhive.com. I also translated and edited some of the best books on natural beekeeping for you. One is called Keeping Bees with a Smile, that explores how bees live in the wilderness and how you can recreate the same life experience for them in your hive so they stay healthy and productive while producing for you uncontaminated honey. The second book is specifically on using horizontal hives that are bee gentle and also very beekeeper friendly. This book is called Keeping Bees in Horizontal Hives. You can find the free preview of the books and read some chapters from them for free on horizontalhive.com. And again, keeping bees can be simpler than any other form of agriculture or gardening, and I encourage you to give it a try and to discover how simple and exciting it is to keep bees with a smile.
You need to realize that 3/4 of honey consumed in America are not from America. They're imported, including from China. Thank you. Until several years ago, China was the largest exporter of honey to the United States. But then, to protect American beekeepers, the U.S. government imposed very big custom duties, $1 per pound. So now, China is no longer a major exporter of honey in the U.S. Guess where all the honey is coming from now? What's the largest exporter of honey to the U.S.? Vietnam. And what's particular about Vietnamese honey is that they export to the US every year much more than they produce in Vietnam altogether. So guess where all this wonderful Vietnamese honey is coming from? China! Thank you. And there are some problems with this.